1 degree outside, weekend insights. This is the deep dive into meteorology where you're really going to kind of uncover all the stones and find out what's under them in terms of the forecast. We're going to cover the weekend and look at next week as well. Milder air for now, still some weekend snow and ice that comes into play. The Patriots game forecast with them in the playoffs and an interesting pattern for the weather getting into next week. First, let's start out with the jet stream as of this Friday recording. You can see we're starting to see more of a southwesterly tilt here to the jet. That starts to introduce moisture and warmth. So that's something we haven't seen in a little while. When you do that, you increase the moisture storms can work with. So that's why it becomes a little bit more interesting over the next 10 to 14 days. Meanwhile, the warm air has come with dry conditions to the south. Look at this. This is wildfires and smoke. Yeah, the white and gray indicating a smoke plume that we won't need to worry about. But all these red dots indicate wildfires or brush fires that go way up into Ohio and Pennsylvania. A testament to the fact that it's been warm and dry, and that certainly is reflected in current snowpack across the country, absent for so many. You've got snow in the Intermountain West. You've got it also when you come into the upper Midwest and Northern Plains, and right here at home. And that works out well if you're into winter sports. We've got plenty of snow to be snowmobiling. Just watch out. Some of the ice has really been very thin. It's not like a typical year where it kind of just builds linearly. You've had, because of the wind events with warm air, you've had some thin spots, things like that. So keep that in mind. Also, it's going to be weakening and softening a little bit with some of the warmer air coming in spots. Of course, if you love winter sports, snowsports.onedegreeoutside.com. Danielle and I do some really robust discussions a couple times a week and dozens of daily graphics geared towards snowmobilers, snowboarders, and skiers. In terms of the warmth that's building across a lot of the country, look, it is there as we go day to day into the upcoming weekend, but notice the cold air battling back through the Great Lakes, coming in here to home. For Monday, we've got a shot of some chill, not real cold stuff, but chill. But notice the warmth is ready to build back again, and it does. It builds all the way to the mid-Atlantic as we get into Tuesday. This is a sign that, again, there's warmth and now moisture available, so your storms may be a little more interesting over the next several days. Do you have any atmospheric energy to work with? You do. We're plotting it for you in yellow, orange, and red. What I think is interesting is in the beginning of the period through this weekend, a lot of that energy is coming out of the south and west, so it's got warmth with it. And that's why in southern New England, it's mostly raindrops. But northern New England will still snow. In fact, northern New England is very interesting. On Sunday, here comes a big bundle of energy aloft, an upper-level storm. This will promote snow squalls, and some of them may be a bit heavy on Sunday across northern New England and the mountains. We're going to take a zoomed-in, closer look at that in a minute. And then you've still got more energetic disturbances in the pipeline waiting to swing through as we head into next week. One thing that stands out to me, I just want to share it with you about this weekend on Sunday with the squall potential right here. This is some really cold air aloft. You say, what do we care about cold air at 18,000 feet? If you can get that kind of cold air to come overhead, it generates a difference between air near the ground and that real cold air like 35 to 45 below zero when you get aloft. So what you do is you actually promote cloud development. You get them to develop stronger, hardier clouds. And this certainly backs up the notion of some snow squalls in northern New England that could be rather significant here for our Sunday. So again, on Saturday, a lot of the day is increasing clouds. It's dry through at least midday. I'm going to give you the overview, and then I'll zoom in and stop things a little bit more. Storm system comes over southern New England, means mostly rain in southern New England. Could be a little bit different at the Mass New Hampshire border, and a wintry mix in northern New England that by Sunday is down to leftover showers and snow showers. But again, those snow squalls and bursts across northern New England. Another disturbance that comes in late Monday night means some snow showers across the North Country with that. And then a follow-up one again that comes in as we get toward the middle of next week. So that zoomed-in view, you can see midday Saturday, not much to write home about. Rain showers approaching southwestern Connecticut. We go on through your Saturday afternoon into the early evening. We see an expansion of those rain showers, still mild enough for it at 4:15, still not up to the Mass New Hampshire border yet. I would always encourage you to use our app to watch the radar forecast over the weekend. But notice there is a little wintry mix, not even just in the Monadnock region, but also in parts of northern Worcester County getting into Saturday evening. And what's interesting is the temperature actually falls in some place like Keene between 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. as the precipitation comes down. So in other words, for central and southern Vermont, northern Berkshire County, maybe northern Worcester County, and then running also into central and southern New Hampshire, there is a small period of time between, let's say, about 7 p.m. and midnight where you actually may get a little wet snow, going to a little bit of freezing rain, and then finally maybe over to some rain showers. While northern New England, we get a wet snow, and it comes down on Saturday night. Again, kind of priming us for those snow squalls on Sunday in the north. Notice some of those snow showers may come all the way down to northern Massachusetts on Sunday. Could drop a little coating or a fraction of inches of snow on the way by. Don't think it's a real big deal. And farther south you go, less of a deal it is. And by the time the Patriots take the field, it should be all gone. We'll look at that Pat's forecast in a minute. So in terms of icing, again, northern Berkshire County, central southern Vermont, none of this looks to be ice storm. It doesn't look as bad as the last go round, but at the same time, some amount of icing through the lakes region into interior southern Maine takes place during that Saturday night period as it all comes by and then continues to move along so that by Sunday, you've got the colder area going back over to snow showers. You look at how much snow you're going to get. I think we're probably talking about just a fraction of an inch, perhaps on the front side on Saturday evening in central or northern Worcester County. The farther north you go, a broad brush 1 to 3 with higher amounts near the Canadian border. That's not fair, though, to the mountains. And so I want to switch over to the high resolution or highly detailed guidance for snow heading into the weekend. And you're going to see a very different story with that. You're suddenly going to see the mountains really popping out on the Green Mountains, places like Stowe, places like Jay. You're somewhat in the presidentials, but moreover, when you get to the mountains of Maine, I mean, some of those deep blues, that's 6 to 8 inches, and the purple would be 8 to 12. And that's over the course of the weekend. That's between both Saturday night and the squalls that come through on Sunday. But just so you know, yeah, the farther north you go, the more it does become an elevation dependent event. In terms of southern New England, where it's mostly raindrops, how much rain do you get? You get some showers that are coming through Friday. Danielle already talked about that in the 24-hour forecast. But for the remainder of the weekend, you put everything together. You've got maybe close to an inch of rain in some parts of far southeast Mass, generally a third to a half an inch of liquid that comes in across southern New England with, again, most of it coming in on late Saturday evening and night. Temperature is going to be running in the 40s, 30s north. Not too worried about icing overnight Saturday night in southern New England. We already looked at it in central and northern New England. Sunday, the colder air starts to wrap in the squalls in the north, maybe a snow shower all the way down to the Mass Turnpike during the first half of the day on Sunday. Should be gone by the Patriots game. So temperatures running in the 30s at Gillette, enough of a breeze. It will feel like the 20s to teens. So you want to be layered, bundle up, and ready to enjoy what should be a great game without too many weather concerns. Just that breeze will be blowing out of the west. And notice the overnight lows Sunday night. Chilly, yes. Below freezing, yes. But not terribly cold. You get into Monday, and again, that shot of cool that we looked at, but we're on our way to temperatures in the 40s by the time we get to Tuesday, 30s in northern New England. Again, opening the door to the warmer air does mean you're opening the door to the southern stream of the jet stream, to more moisture. So when you look at middle and end of next week, I'll stop things here at midweek, big trough, big dip. You have what we call meridional flow, the wind coming out of the south, allowing for moisture and warmth to come north. So then it becomes a matter of storm track. Somebody will probably get some pretty decent accumulating snow on the northwest side of this storm. Does it end up being northern New England, southern New England, all of New England? We shall see. But it's going to remain interesting all the way through that middle third of the month, as we told you about in the monthly forecast and in our pattern predictions as well. Just keep in mind, you can always stay on top of the 14-day using our free 5-star weather app. I also mentioned that this weekend, I think you'd love that for the radar and the radar forecast. I love Past+Future mode for that. And of course, all weekend long, just like every day, 24/7, we have New England's only weather network on your smart TV, online, and on our app. Hope you have a wonderful weekend.